Shows Chris Farley as Heavy Harry entering a house. Farley. Dad, honey, kids, I'm home. Shows biblical Moses and Noah as children, Mother Teresa as a wife, and Norm MacDonald as Grandpa Don't You Know enter the living room. Philip Seymour Hoffman as Joe King enters and yells, "Cut, cut, cut." Shows Gilda Radner as Liz Lemonade backstage, who yells at Hoffman, "What are you doing? This isn't rehearsal, this is an actual sketch." Hoffman, "Sketch? You call this a sketch worthy of We're Not Alive? Where's the diversity, okay? I see 5 goddamn cis whites. 4 of them male, for Christ's sake." Cuts to Gilda Radner as Liz Lemonade at a writer's table with Michael O'Donoghue. Radner, "So what do you think? It's a show within a show concept, where We're Not Alive is a sketch comedy show that's inside the show Live from Tom's Phone, which is about making We're Not Alive." O'Donoghue, "I like it, but make sure to have King start yelling out names like Tim Meadows and Ellen Clyghorn and asking for them to be killed for more diversity." Cuts to Gilda Radner as Liz Lemonade sitting in an office with Tom Davis. Radner, "So what do you think? It's a show within a show within a show concept, where We're Not Alive is a show within Live from Tom's Phone, which is about making We're Not Alive. However, Live from Tom's Phone is a show within Dead from the Earth, which is a show about Michael O'Donoghue and I making Live from Tom's Phone." Davis, "As long as we can add in gratuitous sex, I don't see a problem." Cuts to Gilda Radner as Liz Lemonade sitting in an office with Philip Seymour Hoffman as Joe King. Radner, "So that's my idea for a show within Saturday Not Alive, titled Tempting Tom Davis, which is a show about me pitching to Tom Davis the show Dead from the Earth, which is a show about me pitching to Michael O'Donoghue the show Live from Tom's Phone, which itself is about putting together of the sketch comedy show We're Not Alive." Hoffman, "So you're telling me that Tempting Tom Davis would be a show within Saturday Not Alive?" Radner, "That's right." Hoffman, "Okay, I will entertain the idea, but only if We're Not Alive, the show within 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 the show, Saturday Night Live SNotL, eventually evolves into a sketch comedy series that creates this very show, Saturday Night Live SNotL." Radner, "So it's like a circle?" Hoffman, "Exactly." Cuts to Philip Seymour Hoffman as Joe King, sweating profusely in front of a whiteboard, with Gilda Radner as Liz Lemonade watching on. Hoffman, "So what do you think? Okay, it's perfect, right? Saturday Not Alive is a show within SNotL. Tempting Tom Davis is a show within Saturday Not Alive. Dead from the Earth is a show within Tempting Tom Davis. Live from Tom's Phone is a show within Dead from the Earth. We're Not Alive is a show within Live from Tom's Phone. And our very own SNotL ends up being the concoction of We're Not Alive. It's 6 shows all creating each other with no beginning or end, all a confusing circle jerk mismatch." Radner, "Can we stick to 2 shows for now?" Cuts to Gilda Radner as Liz Lemonade and Tom Davis sitting at a table. Radner, "So what do you think? Easy enough to follow, right?" Davis, "All I have to say is, Dead from the Earth, Tom Davis is tempted. Is Tempting Tom Davis, starring Adam, Eve, Chris Farley, Moses, Noah, featuring Saddam Hussein, Norm MacDonald, Benito Mussolini, Mother Teresa. Musical guest, Michael Jackson. And your host, Grandma Murphy. Ladies and gentlemen, Grandma Murphy. Cuts to Philip Seymour Hoffman as Joe King and Gilda Radner as Liz Lemonade. Hoffman: all right, so that's what I want for the next episode, okay? Tempting Tom Davis. The suit wants his grandma to host for whatever reason, okay? And whatever you do, don't talk back to her, okay, Lemonade, okay? She'll tear you up like you're a picture of Pope John Paul, okay? And live from Tom's phone, we're not alive. It's Saturday Not Live SNotL, starring an ever-revolving cast that is unionized and refuses to allow their names to be mentioned until their demands are met. Musical guest, Count Basie, and your host, Bob Hoskins. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Hoskins. Applause, applause, applause. Hoskins. Thank you, thank you. I'm happy to be here. Just so you know, I'm the good Hoskins. John Candy comes out and says, hey, Bob, I hate to interrupt, but I had my monologue interrupted in the last episode, so if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to spout out in a monotonous, never-ending spiel about all the movies I've been in. Hoskins: well, John, I'm sorry to hear that happened to you, but I myself was hoping to spout out in a monotonous, never-ending spiel all the movies I've been in. Candy: well, here, why don't we find a movie we've both been in and we can just talk the shit out of that? You were in Splash with me, weren't you? Hoskins: no, I was in the movie Mermaids. Candy: no, Bob, Daryl Hannah played a mermaid, but they didn't actually call the movie Mermaids. Here, just let me talk about it and then you can add on. Folks, I was in the movie Splash, and in it I played Freddie, the womanizing older brother to... Hoskins interrupts and says, folks, I apologize. I don't know why Mr. Candy is interrupting me, but I did want to mention, among many other films, that I was in the movie Mermaids, although there were no actual mermaid characters, and I portrayed Cher's love interest, shoe shop owner Lou Lansky. Candy: folks, I apologize, as obviously you want to hear about more movies I was in, including Uncle Buck. Hoskins steps in front of Candy and says, I was in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Candy steps in front of Hoskins and says, I was in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Hoskins pushes Candy and yells, Super Mario Brothers. Candy pushes Hoskins and yells, Home Alone. Hoskins: Mona Lisa. Candy: Blues Brothers. Hoskins: Brazil. Candy: Cool Runnings. Hoskins: holy shit, mate. You were in Cool Runnings? Candy turns to the audience and says, yes, folks, I was in the movie Cool Runnings, where I forced a bunch of Jamaicans to bobsled for my pecuniary gain. Hoskins begins clapping. The audience tepidly joins Hoskins in clapping. Candy starts to tear up and says, thank you all so much. You're really wonderful. Thank you. Candy goes in and hugs Hoskins. The two men begin to whisper in each other's ears. Shows Chris Farley and John Belushi in the audience tepidly clapping. Farley turns to Belushi and asks, why are we clapping? Belushi gives Farley a dirty look and says, didn't you hear him, man? The guy was in Cool Runnings. Belushi stands up and begins to clap enthusiastically. Hoskins and Candy stop hugging and hold hands. Hoskins: dear audience, I learned something today. Sometimes someone or something may come along and try to take over your monologue. But I've learned you have to be open-minded, see things from others' perspective. Because otherwise, neither you and the audience nor myself would have remembered that Mr. Candy was in Cool Runnings. Shows Belushi, who turns and looks out at the rest of the audience and yells, start clapping, come on, stand up, come on, everybody. The crowd tentatively stands and begins to mildly clap. Hoskins wipes tears from his eyes and says, folks, we have a great show tonight. John Candy was in Cool Runnings, and so Bob Marley is here. Hoskins looks backstage and says, Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, the musical guest is Count Basie. So get ready for a 1 o'clock jump. We'll be right back.